Good day, everyone, and welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia.
Hey.
We are proud to offer this series with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and the United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded and are made available for viewing through a YouTube channel for future use. I am your host for today's activities. It is my pleasure to bring to us again Memories International, and our topic today is laughter. We have folks from both sides of the pond, so gentlemen, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Martha. I'm going to share my screen, so bear with me while I cue this up. Just a second. Okay, can everybody see the good old days laughter screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, well, for those of you that have attended several of our meetings, this is a new presentation idea that we're doing. It uses the same format that Michael started back with Jukebox Days and Screen Memories. The only difference with Good Old Days is it's an equal mix of different topics, and we'll do those in just a minute. But first, Michael and Reg and I have started a nonprofit to deliver these programs around the world. So here's just a quick word from our sponsor.
Okay.
So we're Memories International, and we have a blast, a lot of fun doing these things with folks like you. So we're excited to be doing another one today. We typically just have people from Scotland and the United States. I'm hoping we have somebody from Ireland. Do we have anybody from Ireland? Could you raise your hand?
No.
And I can't see, Mike. Do you see anybody?
I do not.
No, I can't see them, Dave. They may come in later.
Okay, well, I hope they do. So let's go quickly to the agenda. So the Good Old Days format, again, is going to look just like Michael's Jukebox Days and Screen Memories, but today's topic is going to be laughter. I think we've all been cooped up too long with COVID, and we haven't been out and about like we would like to. So today we're going to talk about things that hopefully make us laugh. Now, Mike has already warned me that comedy on different sides of the pond plays a little different. So I'm going to be curious to see what might be funny for those of us in the US, and if it's not funny for those of you in the United Kingdom. So let's go quickly to culture. And what I want to do first, and I'm going to ask you to raise your hand, but I want you to tell us something that made you laugh when you were younger, say a child or a teenager, whether it was something you did at school. And I'm going to get, if you can raise your hand, I'm going to see if I can see everybody.
A cartoon.
If you just raise your hand and tell us one thing that made you laugh when you were a kid.
The lady Zoom user.
Remember, I sent you two. You've gone into the one for today, haven't you?
Okay.
The lady Zoom user raised her hand.
Can you tell us?
Have a look and see what Tuesday, okay?
Film.
Okay, I see Bernard had his hand up.
Yeah, that's a cartoon. You used to get cartoons in the cinema.
Good old days.
Cartoons at the cinema. What was your favorite cartoon?
Oh, well, you see, I don't remember because my memory's
Yeah, cartoons were, Tom and Jerry and Popeye were two of my favorites.
Donald Duck.
Donald Duck, very good.
Yeah, Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear?
Yeah, Yogi Bear.
Don?
Okay, I see Don has his hand up.
The Three Stooges.
Oh, we're going to talk about the Three Stooges here in just a minute.
There's a
Very
lady.
good.
There's a lady whose iPad is Zoom user. She raised her hand, but I don't know her name.
I think that's Doreen. She's maybe not got sound.
Okay,
Is she
Yeah.
on mute?
I thought I saw her raise her hand.
Yeah, she is. She's not got any sound there.
Okay.
Anybody else? What made you laugh when you were younger?
My daddy doing silly dances in the living room.
Very good. Michael, what made you laugh?
I used to laugh at the Keystone Cops.
Oh, we're gonna see the Keystone Cops here in a little bit. Okay, well, here's my list that I put together, and if this rings or generates any thoughts for you, please raise your hand, and we want to. Okay, jokes. Did you have knock jokes in Scotland?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if I said knock,
Who's there?
Who's there?
wooden shoe,
Wouldn't you
Wouldn't
what?
Who?
wouldn't you like to know? Boo.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ooh. Nowadays,
Okay.
they call that a dad joke.
Somebody mentioned the Three Stooges, and if I had $1 for every Three Stooges episode I watched, I'd be broadcasting from the coast of Hawaii instead of Central Texas. I wasted way too much time in my youth watching the Three Stooges.
Never took to them.
Were they big in Scotland?
No, no.
No?
They were on a lot, but a lot of people didn't take to them.
Yeah, well, that's part of what you're saying, the different styles of comedy. I love the Three Stooges unless Shemp was on, who took Curly's place after Curly had a stroke. So, okay, how about laughing at school recess? When you were in elementary school in Scotland and you had a break between subjects and you went outside on the playground, did you call that recess?
Playtime.
Playtime.
Playtime, okay.
Yeah.
So I picked this picture from back in the 50s because I can promise you in the United States, there is not a device like this on any school playground in the United States because now it's too dangerous. So even though all of us probably survived this place that, we don't allow them in the US anymore. Okay, somebody mentioned cartoons, and for me, it was Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
And at least for me in the United States, let me kill this video panel. Okay.
Yeah.
TV didn't come on till like 7 in the morning. So I would turn the TV on at about 7:30 and stare at this thing on the right that's called a test pattern.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something I learned this morning, here's what a test pattern, here's what it sounded like in the United States in the early 1960s.
Okay.
Just that horrible noise.
Yes.
Yeah. We had
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I know that.
See that?
What I found out in the United Kingdom, you had a
Yeah.
different looking
That's
test
BBC.
pattern,
Yep.
Yeah,
but you actually had music.
yeah. Right. 405 lines.
Well, that's good.
Okay, so
How
if
nice.
you're like me, you spent 30 minutes every Saturday morning watching that test pattern, waiting
No,
for the cartoons to come on.
we didn't have a telly in the 50s.
Yes.
Mhm.
A lot of people did not.
No,
We,
especially not in the UK.
Mhm. People got them for the coronation, 1953. That was a
Yeah.
common thing.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, those who
Yeah.
could afford them.
Yeah, that's when we got ours in the
Yeah.
for the coronation. Yeah.
For the coronation.
yeah.
Very interesting. And you said that was 1953?
Yeah.
Okay.
Used to find that there was one person nearby had a television,
That's
and
right.
everybody from every house crowded into their room to watch the coronation.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Did you have, like, for important sporting events, people would stand outside department stores,
Oh,
look
yeah.
at the TV
Yeah.
in the window?
Still
Yes.
do.
Yes, yeah.
Still do.
Still do.
That's great. Here's
the
another
coronation,
thing.
Some places put up a big screen.
That's okay. That's all right.
Okay, here's another thing that made me laugh that is no longer, at least in the United States, for certain, we don't want to abuse animals, so we do not have any more circuses in the US. Here's a clip of a circus from London in 1951.
It's Bertram Mills at Olympia again, so it's Christmas. No need to remind Costa Cruises elephants, they never... Darn it, I forget what it is they never do. Costa is the youngest trainer in the business. He started with sea lions and worked up to the big stuff. It's 25 years since the late Captain Mills first gave London the world's finest circus. Teaching a horse to jump through something solid looking is quite a triumph of training. Johnny's Bears are just as keen on motorbikes as Jeff Duke. Tightrope work is dead easy for chimps. They've got hands at both ends. Wickbowl's aerial sensation makes its world debut at Olympia. The bottom opens and there's nothing between him and a sudden end to the act. Now something really highbrow as the clowns go into action. It's dead easy to be a clown. All you got to be able to do is take anything that comes. They may be all wet, but it's no circus without the clowns to give the kiddies that holiday spirit.
Okay, so did circuses travel through Scotland? I mean, in almost everywhere I lived in the US, you would have access to a circus at least once a year. They would travel through. Was that the case in Scotland?
Very same.
Yes.
Same, okay.
Watching that, it's hard to believe we went to these things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is,
you're
but
right.
look, did you notice how much the kids were laughing? And I don't see kids laugh like that anymore. It's actually, I think, kind of sad. Another thing that used to make me laugh, at least I put this in here, is comic books. Were they big in Scotland?
Yeah. Massive. Yeah.
Dandy and the Beano.
Okay.
I remember it was hard to find which one to spend my nickel on.
Yeah, that's right. They did cost a nickel and then they went up to a dime. Oh my goodness. I don't know what that is in Scotland, but it's
Ours were threepence, three pennies.
okay.
Yes.
I see Donald Duck comic book, but a lot of those weren't funny. They were actually a little bit scary. Tomb of Terror, and then of course these Western heroes, Gene Autry, John Wayne, Gabby Hayes, Lone Ranger, Red Rider, Smiley Burnett. They were big when I was a kid.
Shirley says, Oor Willie and the Bruins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Dandy and the Beano.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He
Now-
was in the. Yeah.
I don't know how much I laughed at comic books, but there was one magazine that came out once a month in the 60s and maybe even into the 70s, although I should have been too old to read it. And Michael tells me you had it in Scotland, but Mad Magazine.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
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 I thought Mad Magazine was the funniest thing going.
I like the spy versus spy portion of it.
Spy versus Spy. Do you remember this kid on the front, what his name was?
Albert E. Newman.
Alfred E.
Alfred E.
Newman.
Newman.
Well
What was
done.
his motto? What me
Oh.
worry?
What,
Yeah.
me worry? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I love Mad Magazine.
Let's see if that is showing.
Okay, so
I
TV comedies. I found this one for the UK, and unfortunately, these look like they're all modern day comedies. Can anybody share what comedies you liked back when you were a kid in the United Kingdom?
Yeah. There were a few American ones.
Yeah. Glasgow was. Yeah, one from Glasgow.
There were a bunch of ones like
The
Bewitched.
Clankies.
Bewitched, okay.
Yeah, Bewitched.
Father Ted.
Okay, I'm having a hard time hearing, but anyway, TV comedies. If you grew up in the US, I Love Lucy was
I
a
Love
big
Lucy,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it made it across in the upper
Yes,
right.
it did.
I Love Lucy was good. Yeah.
Carol Burnett.
Carol Burnett, very good.
Yeah.
In the upper right corner, The Honeymooners.
Oh, Honeymooners, yeah.
Don't know that one.
Shirley says The Simpsons. And
We're gonna
Tony
do
says
The Simpsons here in a minute.
Horses.
Oh, what's
I don't know.
Jim, did
Yes.
you have a show in America about a girl from Scotland who arrived in New York called the Jeannie Carson Show?
Jeannie Carson.
Yes, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. Was that 50s, Mike, or 60s?
I think
60s.
probably
40s.
60s, yeah.
Yeah.
Six- 60s,
that
I
name
think
is so
that was
familiar,
my-
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Steve, hey, Jim, what's this,
Yeah.
this show in the bottom left-hand corner?
You know, I'm not sure. It's
So,
yeah, of course, the bottom right corner is Mary Tyler Moore,
Yeah.
who was
Yeah.
on Dick Van Dyke was a big show here
Yeah.
in the US.
yeah,
We
we
had
got
that.
that as well.
Okay. And then she had her own show with Ed Asner, the Mary Tyler Moore show.
So
Okay, and then late night TV in the US, I just love Johnny Carson. Was there an equivalent in the United Kingdom? Did you have late night talk shows?
Yeah, we had one in the 60s called That Was the Week That Was.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I
Millicent
remember
Martin.
watching that.
David
Millicent
Frost.
Martin was one of the ones.
Yeah.
We also had Dave Allen.
Dave Allen.
Dave
He
Allen
was good.
quite funny.
Steve Allen was great.
He looks like Dave Allen, to be honest.
Okay, well, let's go to music. And we're going to talk about, there's songs about laughing. And then there were, in the 60s particularly, there was a lot of what I would call silly songs. And I'll tell you what I mean here in just a minute. So in the US, you'd watch American Bandstand. So here's a clip from 1967. And Dick Clark is introducing one of those silly songs by a guy named Sheb Woolley.
You could have never predicted that 10 years ago. Speaking of 10 years ago, if my memory serves me, it was 9 or 10 years ago. This silly song was one of the top songs of the day by Sheb Woolley.
Anybody remember Purple People Eater?
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Well, I saw the thing coming out of the sky. It had a one long horn, one big eye. I commenced to shaking and I said, ooh, it looks like a purple people eater to me. It was a one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. One-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. A one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater sure looks strange to me. Well, he came down to earth and he lit in the tree. I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, don't eat me. I heard him say in a voice so gruff, I wouldn't eat you 'cause you're so tough. It was a one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. One-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. One-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. Sure looks strange to me.
Okay, the next screen is going to be a singer that was actually born in Scotland. And he had a hit song in the early 60s. He's actually the first male singer from the United Kingdom to have 2 top 10 Billboard songs in the United States. Again, he was born in Scotland. And he's got a famous silly song. Anybody want to guess who I'm going to show next?
Lonnie Donegan.
Lonnie Donegan. Very good. Now, unfortunately, I could not find him on a BBC TV show. So I'm going to show Lonnie Donegan on an Austrian TV show. So if you're like me, you're not going to understand the first 30 seconds, but then you'll recognize the song. Here's Lonnie Donegan.
Ebenfalls ein Hit aus dieser Zeit, ein Hit, den Lonnie Donegan in Europa berühmt und bekannt gemacht hat. Und ich glaube, gerade in meiner Altersklasse, werden die Fernseher diesen Titel auch noch besonders gut kennen. Does your chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? Lonnie Donegan.
Does your chewing gum lose its flavor? Whatever I do. If only I could know.
Great
Your mother said to you to swallow it's like
Here comes the blushing bride. The groom is by her side. To the elder, just as steady as the rose, while the groom has got the ring. It's such a pretty thing. And as he sticks it up, a finger while the choir begins to sing.
Okay, now I want the men to be honest. Who had a leisure suit like that with the big collars and the light blue?
I had a husband who had one just like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a green one.
A green one. Very good. Okay, the next song is a song about laughing, and I think you're going to recognize it. It's from a group from the United States called the Beau Brummels. It's called Laugh, Laugh.
I hate to say it, but I told you so. Don't mind my preaching to you. I said don't trust him, baby, now you know. You don't learn everything there is to know in school. Wouldn't believe me when I gave advice. I said that he was a tease. If you won't help, you better ask me nice. So be sincere, convince me with a pretty please. Laugh, laugh, I thought I'd die. It seems so funny to me. Laugh, laugh, you met a guy who taught you how it feels to be lonely. Oh, so lonely.
Okay, let's move on. Now, normally when we do a jukebox days, we have what we call a
that's famous. That's a very famous picture.
It is.
Yeah.
And so today we're going to do a cover challenge, but it's going to take a slightly different twist. So this is the Beatles, and this is their last live public appearance. And it was on top of the Apple building in downtown London. And if you look at the picture, it was a very cold, blustery day in January when they did this performance at noontime in downtown London. And it was so cold that you see Ringo is wearing his wife's red coat. John is in Yoko Ono's fur coat. And George is not in this picture, but you'll see him on the video on the next slide. He's got a really goofy looking coat on. So this is their final performance, and I'm going to show you 2 video clips from that performance, and then we're going to get into a cover challenge. So here's the Beatles.
Goodness.
Let me back up a second. I'm sorry.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
You never seen it?
No.
No.
Thank you.
The trouble was it was so windy up there that they had to send the microphone, the sound guys out. That morning, they ran into a department store next to the Apple building and they bought pantyhose to put on the microphones to try to cut out the wind noise blowing through it. So they said the guy looked at him crazy because he ran in there and he said, I need some pantyhose. And the salesman said, well, what color and what size? And he said, it doesn't matter. So the guy looked at him like he was trying to buy pantyhose to rob a store.
Yeah. You never told anybody. You never told anybody they were doing it, so that's why there were no crowds.
Yeah, well,
they just looked up and they couldn't believe.
That's right. But they said that as they played, the crowd start to gather on the street, and they started blocking entrances to the nearby stores. And so the storekeepers called the police, and they ended up shutting down the performance after only about 45 minutes. So, okay, this is the very end of the performance. And I want you to pay attention to what John Lennon is saying, because you're going to hear it again on the next slide. So here's the end of the last performance by the Beatles in public.
I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves. I hope we pass the audition.
Did you hear what he said? He said, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the group, and I hope we pass the audition. Okay, so here's our cover challenge, and I'm going to show you two groups that mimicked this performance, and we're going to vote on which one had the funnier rendition making fun of the Beatles' last performance. Okay. So here's Homer Simpson. And if you watch The Simpsons at all, you know that he was in a singing group called the B Sharps. Now watch when they come out and perform. One of them has on a red raincoat like Ringo did. Another one has on a fur coat like John Lennon did. So here's The Simpsons. Oh, he's on a rooftop.
I can't remember the last time we were all together.
Last year on that stupid Dame Edna special.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 3.
Boom, boom, boom.
Baby on board, how I've adored that sign on my car's window pane.
Hello? Human fly here. Come on! I stayed up all night dyeing my underwear.
Extra, extra! Be sharp, sing on rooftop!
What? Give me one of those.
Wait a minute. There's nothing in here about the B sharps.
Come back here!
It's been done.
It's actually George Harrison's voice.
Pretty, huh, Chief? It sure is, Lou. It sure is. Get the tear gas.
It's a trip to paradise with my baby on board.
Hey, listen.
I'd like to thank you on behalf of the group, and I hope we pass the audition.
George Harrison.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. Okay. So here's Eric Idle, and he had a group called the Ruddles that actually cut two different albums, and here's their parody of the Beatles' last performance.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Waking up a fever in a one-horse town. Was a jockey by the name of Joe. He didn't have a lot of what you might call luck, but he had a lot of get up and go.
There's Kurt raincoat on the drummer. Okay, so let's back up. Let's vote on which one of these two you thought was the best parody of the Beatles' last performance. If you think it was The Simpsons, raise your hand and I'll ask Mike and Martha to count the votes.
On treasure hunt. Simpsons, which was the best one.
Simpsons or Eric Idle and the Ruddles, but we're voting on if you think The Simpsons had the best cover.
Not the best music.
Okay, let's just say, which one of the two did you like the best? Music, performance, whatever. Simpsons?
Yeah, maybe.
Keep your hand up so we can count.
My hand's up.
Yeah, you can't see
10, 11, 12. 12?
I can put my hand down.
Okay, 12?
Looks like 12.
Okay, if you think Eric Idle and the Ruddles had the best performance.
That was us.
There you
Oh, that's bad.
go. I see it. There you go.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
No, we went with The Simpsons. That kind of surprises me, but that's good. Okay, here's a song about laughter. This one's actually quite pretty. Neil Sedaka. Laughter in the Rain.
I remember that.
Strolling along country roads with my baby. It starts to rain, it begins to pour. Without an umbrella, we're soaked to the skin. I feel a shiver run up my spine. I feel the warmth of her hand in mine. Ooh, I hear laughter in the rain, walking hand in hand with the one I love. Ooh, how I love the rainy days in a happy way I feel inside.
Okay, we're going to have to move on. It never rains in Scotland, does it?
Well.
It's
Well,
wet.
here's a song by the Guess Who I think you'll recognize, Laughing.
I should laugh, but I cry because your love has passed me by. You took me by surprise. You didn't realize that I was waiting. Time goes slowly, but carries on, and now the best years have come and gone. You took me by surprise. I didn't realize that you were laughing. What you doing to me? It ain't the way it should be. You took away everything I had. You put the hurt on me. What you doing to me? It ain't the way it should be. You took away everything I had. You put the hurt on me.
Okay, now we're going to get into the silly songs again. This one, I think, got as high as #2 in the United States. And after you listen, excuse me, to a part of it, you're going to wonder why. I'm curious if this made its way across the pond. Alan Sherman.
Enjoy the 60 fastest, funniest minutes on TV. The Alan Sherman Show.
Hello, mother. Camp is very entertaining, and they say we'll have some fun if it stops raining. I went hiking with Joe Spivey. He developed poison ivy. You remember Leonard Skinner? He got ptomaine poisoning last night after dinner. All the counselors hate the waiters, and the lake has alligators, and the head coach wants no sissies. So he reached to us from something called Ulysses. Now I don't want this should scare you, but my bunkmate has malaria. You remember Jeffrey Hardy? They're about to organize a searching party.
Okay, here's one by the Coasters.
Ends up okay.
Charlie Brown.
Feed, feed, five, five, full, full fun. I smell smoke in the auditorium. Charlie Brown, he's a clown. That Charlie Brown, he's gonna get caught. Just you wait and see.
Why is everybody always picking on me?
That's him on his knees. I know that's him. Yelling 7,11 down in the boys' gym. Charlie Brown, he's a clown. That Charlie Brown, he's gonna get caught. Just you wait and see.
Why is everybody always picking on me?
Another song from the early 60s by David Seville.
This is probably a name.
I told the witch doctor I was in love with you. I told the witch doctor I was in love with you.
Oh my.
And then the witch doctor, he told me what to do. He said that. I told the witch doctor you didn't love me true. I told the witch doctor you didn't love me nice. And then the witch doctor he gave me this advice. He said that ting tang walla walla bing bang. Ting tang walla walla bang bang. Ting tang walla walla bing bang. Ting tang walla walla bang bang. You've been keeping it.
Okay, another this guy Ray Stevens
yeah.
had a number of silly songs. Some are not politically correct in today's environment, but here's one that I think everybody will remember.
He's free as a breeze, he's always at ease. He lives in the jungle, hangs by his knees, swings through the trees without a trapeze. It's BVD. He got a union card and he's practicing hard to play the guitar. Gonna be a big star, yeah, it's gonna go far. Carry moonbeams home in a jar. He ordered Chet's guitar course COD, makes A, E, working on B, digs C and W and R and B, and me and the chimpanzee agree that one day soon he'll be a celebrity. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Guitar Zane, he's a guitar man. He's all you can stand. Give him a hand, Guitar Zane.
Okay, here's one by the Hollywood Argyle, straight out of the Sunday Funny Papers, at least here in the U.S.
There's a man in the funny papers we all know. He lives way back a long time ago. He don't eat nothing but a bear cat stew. Well, this cat's name is Alley-Oo.
Okay, we're going to have to move on. Roger Miller had a number of silly songs like Ray Stevens. Here's his most famous one from the mid-60s.
You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. You can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. You can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. You can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. But you can be happy if you've a mind to. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. buckle down, do it, do it, do it. Well, you can't go swimming in a baseball pool. You can't go swimming in a baseball pool. You can't go swimming in a baseball pool. But you can be happy if you've a mind to.
Okay, let's get away from music and go to the movies. So does anybody want to tell us your favorite movie comedy or movie comedian? Raise your
Charlie
hand.
Chaplin.
Pardon me? Charlie Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin, yeah.
Very good. Anybody else?
Laurel and Hardy.
Laurel and Hardy, you're going to see here in just a second.
All right.
You guys are going way back. Any modern day or?
All right. No, we're all older.
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
Charlie Chaplin.
The jokes were better.
Charlie Chaplin. Well, here's one. Michael sent me this one. I forgot all about the Keystone Cops. Silent Day. They were. Here's a little bit of the Keystone Cops.
Force, which became known as the Keystone Cops. Initially, it wasn't intended as anything that was named or any special thing, but it was kind of, he'd gather some of his comedians and stuntmen, and they'd come in at the end of the film, the chase scene, to the rescue, and usually bumbling and doing gags in the back of cars, skinning automobiles.
Stan Laurel, I think, was born in England. Oliver Hardy was born in the United States. They had quite a career. Whoops. Well, we're going to have to move. Here, W.C. Fields was one of my absolute favorites. So here's a little bit of W.C. Fields.
You had a beautiful woods, eh?
Oh, look what you've done.
She ran right in front of the car.
She ran right in front of the car. Let's skip over a little bit.
I was in love with a beautiful blonde once, dear. She drove me to drink. That's the one thing I'm indebted to her for.
The crook has corn teeth, cauliflower ear, apple red cheeks, mutton chop whiskers.
Sounds like a full-course dinner to me. What, no apple pie? Oh, shut up.
But the old hoe ain't seaworthy.
That's a downright fib.
I'm not so sure. This boat was launched in 1881.
So was my wife, but she's still seaworthy.
He wants more money, and if he don't get it, he'll take our Malamute.
You won't take old Bolto, my lead dog.
Why not, Paul?
'Cause I ate him.
You ate him?
He was mighty good with mustard. Come, my little pillowing. She's in. The only way to play it, she made the round trip. That reminds me, I must send the little lady her alimony.
As I was saying,
Yes?
I was married to him for 8 months. I gave him the best years of my life.
Best years of
I
her
only
life in
wanted
8
$1 million.
months. Now that I'm here and see what's to be had, I shall dally in the valley. And believe me, I can dally.
Oh, not dally. You mean deli.
Dally.
No, dally. Look. Hi, ho, the cherry-o.
Does anybody know who that woman is?
No.
She was on, she was married to George Burns.
Oh,
Gracie Allen.
Gracie Allen, that's right.
Really? Bomber in the deli. It's deli.
What's the penalty for murder in China?
Yeah, oh, now don't tell me. Let me think of the answer.
Stop it. Stop it. What's on your mind?
Well, Dr. Burns says there's a bone pressing on my brain, but it doesn't bother me, really.
Doesn't bother her. Daffy.
Yeah. Oh, that one goes. Daffy down dilly, bats in the belfry, ding dong.
Okay. Marx Brothers.
Wow.
Patrick
Good
Marx
to see her.
and his insults.
He's had a change of heart.
A lot of good that'll do him. He's still got the same face.
I welcome you with open arms.
Is that so? How late do you stay open?
This lady is my wife. You should be ashamed.
If this lady is your wife, you should be ashamed.
You look as healthy as any woman I've ever met.
You don't look as though you ever met a healthy woman.
What?
Haven't we seen each other somewhere before?
I don't think so. I'm not sure I'm seeing you now. It must be something I ate. I can dance with you till the cows come home. On second thought, I'd rather dance with the cows till you come home.
Okay, how about Danny Kaye from the Court
Oh, yeah.
Jester?
Yeah.
This
Don't
is
like
a very
Danny Kaye.
funny sequence.
Yes, the chalice.
Yes.
Die, you'll not have to fight him. Griswold dies as he drinks the toast.
What?
Listen, I have put a pellet of poison in one of the vessels.
Which one?
The one with the figure of a pestle.
The vessel with the pestle?
Yes. But you don't want the vessel with the pestle. You want the chalice from the palace.
I don't want the vessel with the pestle. I want the chalice from the what?
The chalice from the palace. It's a little crystal chalice with the figure of a palace.
Does the chalice from the palace have the pellet with the poison?
No, the pellet with the poison's in the vessel with the pestle.
Oh, the pestle with the vessel.
The vessel with the pestle.
What about the palace from the chalice?
Not the palace from the chalice. The chalice from the palace.
Where's the pellet with the poison?
In the vessel with the pestle.
Don't you see? The pellet with the poison's in the vessel with the pestle.
The chalice from the palace has the brew of it. It's true.
So easy, I can say it.
Well, then you find him.
Listen, carefully. The pellet with the poison's in the vessel with the pestle. The chalice from the palace has the brew that is true.
Oh, the pellet with the poisons in the vessel with the pestle. The chalice from the palace has the brew that is true.
Good man.
Just remember that.
Sir Giacomo. Sir Giacomo, into your armor. And you to your place in the pavilion.
Pellet with the poison. The pellet with the poisons in the vessel with the pestle. The chalice from the palace has the true that is brewed. Brew that is true. The pellet with the poisons in the vessel with the pestle. The chalice from the palace has the true.
Okay, how about more modern day? Peter
From
Sellers.
Panther, yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah.
This is a classic.
Does your dig that? No? Oh. Let's dig it. I thought you said your dog did not bite. That is not my dog.
That is not my dog. Okay, Walter Matthau from the Odd Couple.
A couple.
I'm in for a quarter.
Aren't you gonna look at your cards first?
What for? I'm gonna bluff anyway. Who gets a Pepsi?
I get a Pepsi.
My friend Murray, the policeman, gets a warm Pepsi.
Still didn't fix the refrigerator. It's been 2 weeks now. No wonder it stinks in here.
Temper. If I wanted nagging, I'd go back with my wife. I'm out. Who wants food?
What do you got?
I got brown sandwiches and green sandwiches. Which one do you want?
What's the green?
It's either very new cheese or very old meat.
I'll take the brown.
Are you crazy? You're not gonna eat that, are you?
I'm hungry.
His refrigerator's been out of order for 2 weeks now. I saw milk standing in there that wasn't even in a bottle.
What are you, some kind of a health?
Okay.
Yes, they were.
Let's close with this. This is that I usually close with Highland Cathedral, but today here's Frank Sinatra, the chairman of the board. And as you watch this video, you're going to see a lot of the people we mentioned when we opened up, and you said, who made you laugh when you were younger? So I hope you enjoy this Frank Sinatra rendition of Send in the Clouds. Clown.
Are we a pair?
Chairman.
Me here at last on the ground, you in midair. Send in the clouds.
Rural, yeah.
Isn't it bliss?
Lucy Ball, yeah.
Don't you approve?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was
One who keeps moving around, one who can't move.
Let's take Penny.
Take Lonnie.
Where are the clowns?
Question mark.
Send in the
Come
clowns.
to police.
Just when I stopped opening doors,
Oh.
finally no
Red Skill. I was just thinking about it.
one I wanted was yours, making my entrance again with my usual flair.
I've forgotten about Jerry.
Sure
He
of
was
my
skinny.
lines,
Remember him.
no one is
And
there.
Kate, man.
Don't you love
Bert
the
Conner.
farce? My fault
Still,
is
still.
here. I thought that you want what I want. Sorry,
Yay!
my dear. Where are the clowns? Send in the
Oh my
clowns.
goodness.
Ah, that's old. Oh, yay.
Brother, they're here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Baby.
Isn't it rich? Isn't it queer? Losing my time in this late in my career. Where are the clowns?
He was
There
around.
ought
Goodness.
to be
Guys.
clowns.
I don't remember them.
Well, maybe next year.
Oh.
Where are the clowns? They aren't around anymore. Neither is their spirit. Their beautiful, exuberant, childlike zaniness. They flourished, of course, in the old variety shows. But are they gone forever, the clowns? Or were they, after all, the product of a different time, another generation? Is it too difficult to clown about minority rights, free love, political corruption, and such like themes for modern comedy? Personally, if I had the choice, I'd go for the clowns. Wouldn't you?
Oh, don't make me cry.
Well, maybe next year.
Yeah, I think the message is that we were lucky to have grown up in an era when we had such wonderfully talented comedians. So that's it, folks. I'll turn it back to Martha.
Jim and Michael, thank you so much.
I was going to say one of the comedians that in our generation, Robin Williams.
Yes.
Who died of Lewy body dementia. Oh. You know, and so that's one of the ones that kind of speaks to me because that's what I have is Lewy body.
Lewy body.
Yeah, Lewy body.
Glad you mentioned him, Steve. Michael?
Yeah, thank you.
Robin was a big pal of Billy Connolly, and he used to come across to Scotland most summers, and he was a phenomenal racer. They had a hill race, and Robin Williams won it quite often.
Really?
Yeah, he was a phenomenal runner. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the story I heard about that was that Robin Williams showed up for this hill race, and some local said, "This is a man's race, Mr. Williams," and he came in third.
Thank you for that, Alan. For those of us who didn't know, that's a tasty tidbits. Yes, it is.
Oh, that's a good
It sure did bring back a lot of memories for me, and I hope it did.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.
Go, Michael. Go, Jim.
Everybody have a fun day and laugh a little bit more.
Bye now.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Let's take a look for Texas and see what's coming up. For tomorrow, we have the Fort Worth Amon Carter Museum of American Art and Peggy Spear bringing us fences.
All right, good.
See you tomorrow.
Yes.
All right, folks.
Everybody have
Thank
a
you very
wonderful
much.
day.
Great.
Thank you all for being here.